Hi everyone, my name is Nathan Corrett. Thanks for coming tonight. I'm a parent of two students at Denison Montessori School. I've got a fourth grader and a kindergartner there. And the reason I'm here and kind of got involved in this, my wife actually started my involvement. But we just were alarmed when we heard at the beginning of this school year that they were adding 9 different assessments. And by my count, my fourth grader is going to be taking at least 24 assessments at some time throughout the year, and my kindergartner is going to be taking 18. My 5-year-old is taking 18 assessments. And so my wife and I started getting involved and looking into what all the different assessments were and why they were being given, and we've been involved in trying to make a push to at least eliminate some of the assessments or get waivers for some of the assessments for our school. So that's why I'm here tonight, to kind of share our experience. We actually wrote an opt-out letter, not for TCAP yet, but we did write an opt-out letter for some of the other the district-mandated interim assessments that are supposed to prepare our students for TCAP and give the district information about how our students are going to do on TCAP. And there are, I believe, 9 different interim assessments throughout the year. So we've been actively involved in trying to get our school, not just our students, but our entire school excluded from those interim assessments, and we were successful in getting waivers for the winter ones. Still waiting on the rest. So I think that's why I'm here. I'll turn it over to whoever's next.
Hi, I'm Joe Plopoulos, and I'm a teacher at Denison Montessori School. I teach primary, which means I teach 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So the most I know is the alphabet song. But one of the things that, rather than take a long time to talk to you about all the things that testing, I'm sure that our experts are going to tell you, I would like to talk more about your role as parents and as payers for your children's education. What's happened is that most of this testing is brought about by people that are contributing significantly less revenue to your children's education than you are. You're probably paying 85% of your child's educational ticket. But the people that are paying the other 15%, whether it be the federal government or in the case of EC, the Denver Preschool Program, or other such revenue sources. For instance, in our school, we have 4 revenue streams for our kindergarten and ECE teachers. Every one of those revenue streams has strings attached to the little bit of revenue that they give us, and those strings require some kind of assessment, which means that we alter the curriculum that you've chosen for your child while you're paying 85% of the bill, and you're letting the people that are conglomerate of people that are paying 15% actually alter the curriculum that you've chosen for your child. So what I would like for you to hear from me is that the power is within you to change that. You're paying 85% of the money. There's no reason why somebody who's paying a little bit of money, whether it's the federal government or some other source, tell you what that education really ought to be like. With that said, I do believe that some standardized testing is essential. And that's another story, but I think that the amount is absurd, and especially the violation of the curriculum is also absurd. Standardized testing has been shown through numerous studies to narrow the curriculum that your child is getting. And especially for Montessori schools, our curriculum is especially broad. It's meant to be that way. And so when they narrow our curriculum because of testing, it actually violates some of our basic principles. So thank you.
My name is Peggy Robertson, and I'm one of the founders of United Opt-Out National. We're the movement to end corporate education reform. We have guides for every state to support parents in opting out of the test. The guides are tailored by looking at every state's ed statutes, all the ed codes. So that was a big undertaking. But what's been interesting is this year, since we've had those guides, one day alone I helped 18 different states refuse the test. So we know there was a high demand for it, and we know it's working. So there's great pushback by the parents, and we thank you for that. United Opt-out is very involved across the country. We have leaders everywhere. We occupied the Department of Education in DC 2 years in a row. This year we are actually coming to Denver. What we decided to do was focus our attention and all the experience the activists have by looking really closely at one community and assessing that community's needs and creating a plan of action. So everyone will be here, about 30 national activists beginning on March 28th, 29th, and the 30th. We're going to be at Auraria campus. We've got some great speakers coming. Angela Engel will be there. Pasi Sahlberg, who is the Finnish educator who wrote the Finland Phenomenon. We have Lois Weiner, who is a wonderful educator who understands the real importance of unions and how to reclaim our unions at the grassroots level. And we're going to be there to look at 6 areas. The main 3 are Corporate Ed Reform 101, because we've been told that Denver teachers really need support in understanding what's really going on, unions, and solutions. So those are the big 3 areas that will branch out a little bit. So we welcome all of you to come if you would like to come and sign up at our website, unitedoptout.com. I did not bring the Colorado Opt-out Guide tonight because it is 14 pages, and I typically have to pay for these myself, and it starts to get a little expensive. So if you go to our website, you can find it. I'm also a teacher. I'm in my 17th year of teaching at Jewell Elementary in Aurora. Wonderful job, and I have 2 sons. One at Denver Waldorf, which is a private school, where you don't actually have to take any standardized tests, and you don't learn to read till 2nd grade, which is good because he's 7 and a half and he still can't read, as it should be. And I have a son at Littleton High School, a freshman, and he's 14. So welcome.
Hi. Well, my name is Angela Engel, and I just wanted to tell you how I got to this bench here, this little stool in this little church in front of all of you. It's been a long journey. I started out as an elementary school teacher. I was a 4th grade teacher when CSAP was first introduced. It was 1997. I, in the beginning, was a proponent of standards, and I was one of those new teachers that thought, here's something new. This is the way and the light, and here we go. And I made it a personal goal that I was going to transform my classroom over the next 3 years to be entirely standards-based. And what that meant was that instead of being project-based and student-driven, I would put the standard on the board. So say, for example, it was science and understanding Newton's law. And then the children would do activities that would demonstrate that they had performed the standard that was written on the board. And I even went as far, I was an overachiever in the standards arena. The standardistas would have loved me. I aligned the curriculum, the parent-teacher conferences and the portfolios with the standards, so that at the end, students would cut out the standard and tape it to the top of their activity or worksheet, so that they indeed had proof that they had achieved the standard. And as I went through this process, I noticed something. I noticed something started to drain out of my classroom, and it was called vitality. The students became disengaged. They were bored. My classroom, which before was this active place of curiosity and imagination and collaboration and cooperation, literally went dead. And I sat there amidst these portfolios of standards and evidence of their performance, and I thought, what has happened here? How did we get here? And if this is the direction that education is going, how and why? And the conclusion that I reached is that once you remove the purpose of learning for one's own sake, you undermine the entire learning process. So the minute that the federal government with NCLB comes in and says, this is what's required of your education, they completely take the learner out of the equation. Then I administered the CSAP test. And again, I was optimistic. They told me it was going to be critical thinking. They told me it was going to be creativity. I'm an optimist, so, initially I believed them. I administered the test. I had my most brilliant writer ever come up to me and say, Mrs. Engel, they want me to write an essay about an alien on a hill. Can I get a new question?